I see that you're a Trump supporter. I voted for Trump in this
yes.
most recent election. And I really liked what he was saying, but where I disagree is I don't believe that a 2-week ceasefire is necessarily a U.S. victory here. They are able to build drones and missiles fast and cheap.
No, they're not.
The U.S.
No, slow down, slow down.
Yes, they are.
We blew up the drone factory.
All of them?
Yeah.
Because you know they have underground cities.
Yeah, we blew up, yes, we have bunker. We blew up their drone factories. We blew up their missile production facilities. We blew up almost every rocket launcher they have. So, you know, they don't have the ability to make rockets or drones anymore. We blew all that up.
100% completely?
I don't know what that means.
Because
we blew it up.
So they're not able to manufacture any missiles. Because I guarantee you within 2 weeks they're going to have at least some more or the capability to build them.
I think you misspoke. Don't you mean you hope they'll be able to manufacture and launch some missiles and rockets and drones? Aren't you kind of hoping they will?
Well, see, how I see it is we all know
that's not a no.
We're fighting this conflict.
That's
right?
not a no.
I think that
why are you rooting for Iran? Why are you rooting for Iran? Are you an American?
Because the more you dive into it, I am an American.
Oh, so I said, why are you rooting for Iran? And you said because. So you admitted you're a traitor. You're a traitor to your country.
I'm not a traitor.
You're rooting for the enemy during a war. You said you're rooting for Iran during a war. That's treason. Because he said it again.
If you give me one moment, Iran is fighting for America more than America is.
I don't care about any of that. What I care about is what you would have admitted twice, that you're rooting for the other side in a war. That is the definition of treason.
I don't want to be in a war in the first place.
Well, you're not in a war. Where are you calling me from?
Illinois. I'm not saying I'm in a war. We should not be at war with Iran.
Do you know more Americans died in Chicago this week than in Iran in the last month during this war?
I mean, I'm sure that's true. And you want to know what would have probably solved that? Mass deportation, which we didn't get either. This whole Trump administration
we've gotten
bullshit.
We've gotten mass deportation. Come on.
No, we haven't. 300,000 is not mass.
It's millions.
No, it's not.
And we shut down the border. Why did you lie and tell me you're a Trump supporter?
No, I didn't lie. I actually really liked Trump.
I can tell.
I really did.
I can tell.
But I liked the messaging on the election.
So at what point did you start rooting? At what point did you start rooting for the other side, the enemy, in a war?
When I realized that there's no benefit for America to bomb Iran.
Third time you've admitted that you're a traitor. 3 times you've said you are rooting for Iran in a war. Isn't that the definition of treason when you're rooting for the other side during a war?
But you just sound like Mark Levin in every neocon.
Well, thank you very much. Mark Levin is a very good friend of the president. I take that as a compliment.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I just think that tides are shifting, and I don't.
Tides are shifting. What do you mean? You think more people? You think more people are like you, treasonous traitors, rooting for the other side? You're out of your mind.
It's not about me hoping that Iran kills, U.S. soldiers. I don't want that. I don't want soldiers there. I don't want to be, shooting.
There are no soldiers
water
there.
Distillation.
There are no soldiers there.
And
there are
talking
no.
About
there are no American. Hey, listen. There are no soldiers there. Not American soldiers. We have no boots on the ground.
They, in 2 weeks there might.
The reason that there's a 2-week ceasefire, the president said this yesterday, okay? Yeah, and the 2 weeks is for them to negotiate the final peace treaty. That's all. When you sit down to negotiate, you stop the fighting and the killing while you're organizing the peace treaty. In fact, are you aware that we had a ceasefire with Germany and Japan at the end of the war before the final peace treaty was signed? You've seen the famous video of MacArthur on the battleship when the Japanese came and surrendered. We had a ceasefire with Japan for quite some time before that peace treaty was signed. This is what happens. Same thing with Germany. We had a ceasefire until they came and signed the peace treaty. That's what happens in every war.
Isn't it a little weird? Isn't it? Like, I think you're trying to make this seem like it's going to be just like every other conflict in the Middle East, and it's not. I think you and I both know Iran is a completely different monster. They're a fishbowl surrounded by mountains, right? You can't even afford to put boots on the ground in there because it's going to be a mess. They're still able to fire missiles.
Yeah.
Okay, so they still have them.
No.
In 2 weeks, they're going to be able to manufacture them.
They don't
right?
have their missile manufacturing factories have been destroyed. They can't make missiles or drones.
Why do you think we're fighting them?
For several reasons. Okay, one of the reasons is they've been trying to kill President Trump since his first term. That's one. And it was widely reported during the last presidential campaign that the Iranians had assassination squads trying to kill him. Number two, the Iranians weren't just behind almost all of the Islamic terrorism of the last 47 years. They were behind the October 7th horrific attack on Israel, and they were responsible for the war in Gaza. And to have continued peace in Gaza with the Board of Peace, Iran has to be out of the way. At least the radical Ayatollah government has to be out of the way. So regime change, which we've had, there's been total regime change in Iran. We had to stop their ability to arm terrorists around the world, which has been done by destroying their military and their equipment and their factories that make military equipment. We also had the goal of destroying their military, which was being used to intimidate others. We destroyed their entire Navy and Air Force, devastated the Revolutionary Guard as well. So those were some of the main objectives.
Don't we fund terrorist groups?
Well, when you say we, since you're no, when you say we, you said you're on the side of Iran. So when you say we, are you talking about you and the Iranians? Who are you talking? When you say we, who are you talking about?
We all know that we're in this war. We're in this conflict because of Israel. We know that.
Yeah, you can keep going with that.
Like we know 100% that we're...
You don't know much at all. You don't know anything.
October 7th, Israel knew that Hamas was planning an attack.
No, they didn't.
They have Mossad, one of the biggest, best intelligence agencies.
When there's a
if
sneak
they could sneak explosives into pagers and send it to
First of all, you are a traitor, self-admitted traitor. Second,
I'm not a traitor.
Yeah, you said you're rooting for Iran. You're rooting for Iran. You asked me what did we win in Iran? I answered all of that. Now you want to change the subject to Israel. Hey, listen, take care. Thanks for the call. All right, take care. Let me tell you something. I've been doing this for a long time. I have talked to I don't know how many thousands of people on the air over the years. I've talked to thousands and thousands of people on the phone, taking calls over the 35 plus years I've been doing this. I have never taken a call from an American citizen who was rooting for the enemy that we're fighting against in a war before. Never. That is a first. And I bet you've never heard that either. Was that 100% treason from that guy? If he's rooting for Iran during the war, I would say. That's beyond just disagreeing whether or not we should be in the conflict. He's rooting for them to win and fight back. He told me several times.